What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. I am your host, Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. You know I got another banger for you, so kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
The 2023 national champions LSU women's basketball released their schedule, man, and we got to dive into it. Now, of course, we know they won the Natty, Angel Reese's first year there. Last season, there was a lot of drama, a lot of ups, a lot of downs. It felt like a roller coaster ride. We've seen players transfer out. We've seen new names transfer in to bolster this roster and reload it as they aim to get back to their second national championship in 3 years. Now, LSU, we know they lost to Iowa in the rematch in the Elite Eight, and it felt like it was an unsuccessful season last season, man. We thought they were going to have a super team coming off a Natty, bringing in the #1 recruiting class led by Michaela Williams, the freshman sensation. On top of that, you got Anissa Morrow, one of the best transfers on the market, walking double-double, one of the most productive players in college in her first 3 seasons. You add Hailey Van Lith, who's coming from a pedigree of being one of the best scorers in the nation, leading a program in Louisville to several Elite Eights, or a couple Elite Eights, I should say. So there was a lot of expectations. You got Coach Kim Mulkey, who is one of the game's greats, who's won multiple national championships. We're thinking, hey, they're about to run it back. The freshies had graduated from South Carolina. We were thinking it was a changing of the guard, even though they hadn't beaten South Carolina. But it didn't work out that way. LSU fell apart. Hailey Van Lith bounced, got up out of there, and so did a few other players, man. You know what I'm saying? Kent left, Valise left as well. So, they lost basically their entire freshman class from the previous year. Now, they've also been known for playing a very weak, very mid, as some people would say, non-conference schedule, man. And shocker, spoiler alert here, guys, it is much of the same this season. Let's get into this schedule. So they start the season October 24th against Xavier in Louisiana. They play LSU Alexandria, a couple in-state schools. They play Eastern Kentucky, and these are all home games, man. Like, their first 8 games are home games. This is wild. When they play Eastern Kentucky, Northwestern State, Charleston Southern, Murray State, Troy, and Tulane. And that's the first 8 games, man. No tough test there. No real test there to really push this team and challenge them, to be honest with you. A lot of mid starting out this schedule, bro. I don't know if it's going to hurt them or help them. Obviously, it's going to help them build chemistry. That's the strength there. They've got a lot of new faces on this group, a lot of transfers. Miracle Shepherd, Cheyenne Day Williams, I think will be a great addition. Kaylin Gilbert, Jersey Wolfenberger. There's a lot of new faces that have to get acclimated. I also think this gives time for Samaya Smith, who's coming off a season-ending injury last year, to get back in rhythm. For Del Rosario to get up to speed, man. They need her to take a major leap in year 2. Just being able to be that anchor on both sides of the basketball, bro. Blocking shots, grabbing rebounds, and getting putbacks, creating extra possessions. She's too big, too physical, too much of a specimen not to be dominant for this group. Then they go on and they play in a preseason tournament, the Baja Mar Hoops Pink Flamingo Championship. Opponents to be decided on November 25th, 27th, and that's when I would assume, would play their first potential ranked matchups. And this is where the test begins. You get 8 games under your belt to build that confidence, and then you head into a preseason tournament with a decent field. Then they go back home. They play North Carolina Central. They play Stanford, who will be moving into the ACC. So this will be the SEC-ACC Challenge. Stanford in rebuild mode, man. This isn't your typical Stanford. They've lost Cameron Brink to the WNBA draft. They've lost top player Kiki Rafen to USC, so this is going to be a rebuild year, and Coach Vanderveer is not there. So definitely going to be a rebuild year, not your dad's typical Stanford. Then they go back, they play Grambling State. Shout out to them for playing the HBCUs, though, Central and Grambling State. Like, big respect there, and they're going on the road to Grambling. So that's major. They got UL Lafayette playing another in-state school, Seton Hall week, Illinois Chicago week, and then they come back home to play Albany, another weak opponent, man. So not a whole lot of tough tests before conference play. Then they get Arkansas. We know they had a mass exodus out of there, basically lost their whole starting lineup, bro. So straight rebuild mode for them. Then you look over at Auburn. We mentioned those players, some of those people that had bounced from Arkansas. Talia Scott, the sensational freshman, 20-point per game scorer, is now with Auburn. Auburn beat LSU last year, so this is definitely a game to watch. You haven't been tested a bunch. You do get them at home, so that's nice, but they returned a lot of talent, one of the tough defensive teams in that SEC, and they were missing a number one scoring option last year. That problem is solved with Talia Scott. I'm telling you right now. Tennessee will be in rebuild with a new head coach as well. Vanderbilt feels like it could be possibly a program on the rise. We'll see. Florida, I love what they did rebuilding this roster, bringing a lot of talent back. I think Florida on the road will be a tough test. Now, we're circling that game, January 23rd, when they go and play South Carolina, who returns a juggernaut, the team to beat not only in the SEC, but in the entire nation. They are on the road in Columbia. This will be the biggest test, without a doubt, for this team. I'm assuming both teams will be ranked in the top 5 at this time. South Carolina will be the number 1 team, looking to go unbeaten, looking to go back-to-back in the national championship game. We remember these teams matching up last year. When it was at LSU, it was an absolute dogfight. Shout out Breezy Hall, shut them down, and then they played in the SEC tournament as well, which was a very physical game that resulted into a skirmish with these groups. And, you know, both head coaches had strong messages after the game. This rivalry has been brewing since Coach Kim Mulkey got there. They still have not beaten South Carolina. Will this be the team to do it? Will they get that performance they need from Flage, Anissa Morrow, Last Terpoa, and these ladies that have already played against South Carolina? Will they, and Michaela Williams too, will they get that production? Can they finally knock off the juggernaut and get the monkey off their back that is South Carolina? That will be a major test, and we will have y'all updated with that. They go against Texas A&M, who's a tough squad, and then the new SEC edition, Oklahoma. You know, they landed Reagan Beers, so they've got some talent on that squad as well. And then in February, they got Mississippi State at home, Missouri, Tennessee again, another SEC newcomer in Texas. This will definitely be their second toughest test. Outside of South Carolina, Texas is absolutely loaded. They get Rory Harmon back. They get Madison Booker, the sensational freshman that took over for Rory Harmon as their lead playmaker, one of the best mid-range games in the nation. And they added Layla Philia, as she is elite as well. So definitely excited to see that matchup. They rounded out with Georgia, Kentucky, new coach Kenny Brooks, bringing his star point guard from Virginia Tech, Georgia Moore, looking to build on something special there. Alabama should be pretty solid. They did some good things in the portal. And Ole Miss, Coach Yo, this group always plays LSU tough. That is going to be a big-time matchup as well. We know they are scrappy. Last year, they were athletic, they played fast, had slashers, getting paint touches in reckless regard. So that will be a very important matchup. Looking at the schedule, man, the two biggest tests arguably are Texas as well as South Carolina. So two mega matchups there. They will be battle tested through the SEC by the time the NCAA tournament runs around. I think this team solved a lot of problems. Perimeter defense and depth in the backcourt were major problems. Last year, too much fell on Flage, Michaela Williams, Haley Van Lith, and Last Terpoa. Point guard play was non-existent at times. And there was a lot of ISO ball being played. They add Miracle Shepherd, who is a lockdown defender on the perimeter. Kaylin Gilbert will provide immediate scoring punch. Jersey Wolfenberger, definitely, you know what I'm saying, 6'4" guard, providing length, athleticism, shooting as well. Cheyenne Day Williams, former freshman of the year in the ACC, to shore up that perimeter, gives them another big wing that can guard bigger wings, man. The likes of Booker, the likes of Breezy Hall, the Joyce Edwards out there that can be problems on that wing, bigger guards. They may have an answer for that now, man. LSU did a great job in the portal. Not a lot of home runs, but a lot of quality players to add depth. We forget Samaya Smith, a double-digit scorer. They lacked depth in that front court. The front court was the biggest issue for this group last year, man. When it wasn't Angel Reese or Anissa Morrow, they could have really used Samaya Smith last year. So I think she will be a big addition, getting her back, experience, and she may be the go-to low-post option for this group. You get Del Rosario a year older, hopefully in better shape, hopefully understands and adjusts to the speed of the game better. But they have a big three to build around that. I think they brought in some complementary pieces that will help carry that load that Morrow, as well as Flau'jae Johnson, as well as Michaela Williams will be carrying. One of the best big threes in the nation. So I'm expecting big things. I would say ceiling, national championship. Floor, another Elite Eight run, man. But depth won't be an issue for them in the backcourt. The front court, we shall see if they can coach these young guns up. They didn't land any bigs. They brought in a guard, of course, Jada Richard. So they added another guard. They revamped and bolstered this backcourt for sure. A lot of great quality pieces with experience. But they did not do much to add to this front court at all, man. So they're going to need the players that are on that front court to take some major steps forward, or they're going to be playing small ball. But y'all let me know how y'all feel. Not a whole lot of tough tests in the non-conference. That's what LSU's been known for, so not much changing there. Give me the win total y'all think, the ceiling for this team, biggest breakout stars. Y'all let me know. Holler at me in the comments. That is a wrap for us. For all the latest and the greatest, I am Brandon Blakeney, a.k.a. Brandon Lee TV. Until next time, we out.